Hi, my name is Shay, and this is going to be a very quick February language update video. And that's because for some reason my laptop isn't letting me film for that long. So I'm gonna try to make this quick and fit in what I can as best as I can. So we're gonna go in order of priority today, which is what we've been doing the last couple of videos, from Spanish to Persian to Korean. How did my Spanish go in February 2023? It went pretty well. My goal per month, if I average out the hours that I need to meet my yearly goal, is 33.42 hours. I reached 31.47, which is not quite there, but I'm not worried about. I said in my last update video that I wanted to do a bit more than 30 hours, and that is, in fact, a bit more than 30 hours. That's also more than an hour a day because February is a short month with only 28 days. So I felt good about the number of hours. In terms of what I was actually doing and how I felt about Spanish itself, I really feel like my comprehension is continuing to improve. I am on intermediate Dreaming Spanish videos now, and I am continuing with the How to Spanish podcast, and they're all more comprehensible than they were at the beginning of the month. It just takes a lot less mental exertion to interact with them and to engage with them. And so that's really great, and it's nice to be in intermediate content because it just tends to be a bit more interesting and a bit closer to the type of content that I would be interacting with in my native language, which is English. So that is Spanish, and I'm 100% sure I had more to say about each of these things because I did try to film this previously, and by now I was probably at about 8 minutes, but I'm just under 2, so I'm sure that I had more to say, but I will leave that for another video. So if you have any questions about this update, please let me know and I will pop it into another video when my laptop is cooperating. Okay, next up is Persian. How did Persian go? My goal for Persian is 12.5 hours per month, although right now I have an extended goal of 25 hours for February through May, February, March, April, May, those 4 months. And I did not hit 12.5 hours, and so obviously I didn't hit 25 hours, but I did much, much better in February than I did in January. In January, I did just over 2 hours, and in February, I did almost 10.5 hours, which is obviously much more than just over 2 hours. I think that I have found a material that works for me at the level that I'm at and how I want to use it. I was using Persian Language Online primarily, which was really great, but when I finished the basic level, I don't know if I think it's beginner, and I moved into elementary, that might be flipped. But I just found that the gap was a little bit much for me to jump up to. Some of them were harder than others in that next level up, but I found myself getting frustrated, and it wasn't something that I could keep going in the background while I was washing dishes and walking to school. I had to be more actively engaged with it. So, oh, I don't know even if I said what it is. It's LingQ. I forgot LingQ existed, which is very silly because in my 2022 language goals video, almost every goal was connected to LingQ in some way or another, but I just forgot it existed, so I'm very happy that I have remembered. That's been great. I went through a bunch of the mini stories that I had already gone through, and then I continued to move forward through them, and I found that they were much easier to understand than they were the first time I went through them a couple of years ago. So, and I hadn't gone through all of them. By the way, I think I'd gone through about 25 of them at the time. But yeah, I just found it to be much easier. I found it really pleasant to go through, so I've continued to do that. And it surprised me how much more Persian I understood than I thought. I think I had worked myself into thinking that I understood almost no Persian. Definitely Persian is the language that I understand the least of, for sure, out of the 3 languages that I'm working on. But I've been surprised at how much that I did understand, and very pleasantly so. Okay, and then finally Korean. Korean, I also did much better. That's the good news. I did much better in February than I did in January. In January, I did less than 45 minutes of Korean the whole month. I've actually already in March done more. It's March 1st now. I've done more Korean on March 1st than I did in all of January. But in February, I did 3.7 hours, which is below the 6.25 hours that I was aiming for. I think I actually said 7 hours in the last video. The last update video was what I was aiming for. The main issue I'm having with Korean is just that I don't want to do 3 languages in a day. I'm finding that tough to do, and I'm trying to do both languages every day. And so I don't have a lot of opportunities where it feels right to be doing Korean. And that's not to say that I'm not going to do any of it, but considering it is my lowest priority language, I'm not that worried about it. I do think as I get in the groove with everything more over the year, it will just naturally start to happen more. But if it doesn't, then I will reevaluate trying to find a way to make Korean happen more. Trying to either say on specific days, Korean's gonna take priority before I do any other languages, or maybe just even 20 minutes before bed every day, something like that. I don't like to do the languages back to back, and that's part of what I'm running into, is I like to do one language and then have something in between, like some schoolwork, some classes, and then do another language. And so chunking up my day like that, where I have the time, the energy, and the mental space to do all 3 languages has been a tough thing, and I've been letting Korean fall by the wayside. That isn't to say that as I said, I'm gonna stop doing Korean. That's not my intention, but I'm not that worried about it right now. I think we're just gonna see how it goes. I'm gonna see how March plays out. At the end of the month, I actually do have an opportunity to be speaking some Korean. That's not my goal right now, doing language exchange in Korean, but it is just gonna naturally come up in the last week of the month. I'm gonna have an opportunity to. So I might try to do a little bit more this month, but I'm not gonna hold myself to that. I'm still going to say that 6.25 hours is my goal. Yeah, that's where I'm at. And I don't have one specific thing that I'm doing with Korean right now. I'm just kind of testing the waters with a bunch of different things to try to find what I can use kind of the way that I'm using the materials I'm using for Spanish and the way that I'm using Link now. I'm trying to find what works best for doing something similar in Korean for me. So that is my update video. It was very quick, but I'm trying to not have my laptop cut me off again because it has done that 4 separate times, and it's very annoying. So it is filming now, though it's still filming in time for me to say goodbye to you. Thank you very much for watching today. Let me know how your language study is going, or if you have any thoughts about mine. And if you have any questions, I will, as I said, hopefully have this whole laptop thing sorted out by the time I go to make another video. So let me know and I will address anything. But yeah, for now. The timing, this laser toy started right as I finished the video. Amazing, look at that.